and record on this computer.
Okay.
So here we are. Welcome everyone to key 18, the moon, and we'll also be doing key 19, the sun. And there's everyone. So Renee, you seem to have disappeared.
Oh, here I am. Where am I?
Yes, so this is perfect. So if anyone comes in, I'll just add them. And what I'm going to do is we're starting. So I'm going to bring over.
Oh, I like this.
Let's see if this will fit. Barely. Well, let's see. How can I move this over? Just so we can see this. All right. So I think that'll be good enough so we can see where the cards are in the tarot tableau, because I do talk about them a little bit as we begin. So let's start. On the previous card called the Star, we were exploring meditating. Here on this key called the Moon, we'll learn how the information received through meditation has an effect on our bodies. The moon is found at the bottom of the fourth column of 3 cards on the tarot tableau. So here's the fourth column. And yeah, 4, I can count to 4. And here's the fourth column. So we're going to look at the 2 cards above the moon are the Emperor at the top and Justice in the middle. They constitute the 4th stage of spiritual unfoldment called organization. According to Paul Foster Case, the Emperor is the principle, Justice is the agency through which the principle works, and the moon is the result. Yes, you've probably guessed. What? Oh, let's see. So what are we organizing? Yes, you've probably guessed we're organizing our bodies. So let's retrace our steps so far. In the first stage of spiritual unfoldment, ending in the Deceiver card down here, we become aware of our bondage to the world of appearances, but soon discovered that our bondage was just an illusion. In the second stage, which is this column, ending in the Tower card, we were struck by a flash of spiritual illumination which forever changed us, overthrowing our false concepts of thinking and action. Then in the third stage, ending in the Star card, we entered a period of calm, like after a violent storm, which revealed to us new relationships with the world around us. So now we're ready to begin reorganizing ourselves with what we've learned up to this point. And this reorganizing is taking place not just in our minds, but also in our bodies. Organization is the function of key 18, the moon. So let me move this over. I will move us over a little bit. Throughout time, evolution has changed the human body to adapt to the conditions around it and to the conditions of our ever-changing consciousness. Evolution is pretty spontaneous. When you step on the path of the hero's journey, you begin to actively take part in your evolution. And I think I brought this up before about evolution, that we evolve consciously and our bodies respond to that. And therefore, they also evolve. So even though science talks about the evolution of the human body, it all begins in your mind, the mind. And so that's rather important to consider, that it starts from within us, the way we think, what we're thinking about. And then it manifests through our bodies. The old proof is in the pudding. It doesn't do it overnight. And that's a concern most people have. Like, I'm studying all this spiritual stuff, and yet I'm still going through and having problems with the way I respond to life. So that's what happens when you are living in a body that takes about 7 years to get a new body. So you start, we all know, according to science, that we get a brand new body, but it takes 7 years. So every 7 years, you're continuously changing your body. The initiator of that change is where your mind is at, your consciousness. So if you feel, oh, I've had this great revelation, this aha moment, everything's wonderful, and I'm going over here to the right, and my body's like, no, I still want to do things the same old way. I want to hang out with the friends. I want to do this. So all the habits are there. Every cell in your body is alive and conscious. It is your solar system. You, the star, the sun, and this is your solar system. So it has to catch up to you. And it does that. And that's why we say that spiritual education is not just, it all happens, I change, and everything goes on in 1 year or 2 years. No, it's an evolution of your whole being. Your consciousness changes, and then your body catches up. So here we are looking at that. In order for your illumination to take place and grow, you will need to transform your body into a more highly tuned vehicle. There's no separation between your spiritual nature and your physical body. So you will have to learn how to take conscious, directing charge of this task. And you will accomplish it through the use of your imagination. There is an art to this magical endeavor. According to Paul Foster Case, the alchemists called it the great art. Here's where your being the magician comes in. You didn't inherit this ability to take conscious, directing charge of your life. You will need to learn how to use your willpower in order to do it. You will need to learn how to apply and understand the principles of the power, force, and energy of the cosmos for its accomplishment. No small task, but you don't do it alone. We have discussed this before. Yes, secret operation of the subconscious mind. I just love it. So we have discussed this before on the strength key. The importance of the use of the subconscious mind in controlling our environment. Once again, a reminder. Notice how relaxed the feminine is, the woman is. She's holding this lion, this roaring lion, which is all of nature, and she's very relaxed. And there's a figure 8 that is wrapped around both of them in the form of leaves and roses. So she's doing it with love. And the work she is doing is bearing fruit because the green on her crown, her authority, now bears flowers. So the strength is understanding how to operate this card and how to operate the way she does. Relax. We have discussed before on the strength key, the importance of the use of the subconscious mind in controlling our environment. In the Hermit card, we spoke about the importance of a healthy body and the interaction between your small intestines and the health of your nervous system. We discussed how the application of the subconscious mind worked on that card to bring about your healthy body. So let's take that a step further. We create mental images. We imagine things and events. Those mental images become the foundation of the activity of the subconscious mind. If you can imagine it, you'll get it. I would be careful what you imagine, because yes, you will get it. So keep your thoughts pretty clean. And functional and positive and creative as opposed to destructive. So we saw on the Empress card what can happen when the subconscious mind reciprocates or returns to us our creations back into our lives. The warning is, be careful what you think. The Empress will give back to you what you think about and focus on or project onto others in a multiple of creations directed at you. If it's a good thing, yay. If not, then start running for your life. This is very important. What you focus on, you give life to. You are a creator. You are a star. This is your solar system. And what you focus on, you create and give it a lot of life. One of the things we learn about in the tarot is where to put our focus and our attention, and other things to not. I recall early on when I began to study this, I took out my sword in my mind and I decided, I took it and I ran it in front of me like a big sword all the way around behind me. And I said, everything outside I'm not dealing with. Everything inside it, I'm going to get a grip on and focus on. You don't have to do everything. Just because a lot of people like this thing over here, you don't have to have anything to do with it. You have to do with what works just for you, not for anybody else. And the tarot teaches us how to do that. So the warning is, be careful what you think. The Empress will give back to you what you think about and focus on or project onto others in a multiple of creations directed at you. If it's a good thing, yay. If not, get the hell out of Dodge, as they say. Add to this, the subconscious mind is the builder and restorer of your body. In other words, it controls all the functions of your body. Okay, so what does that mean? Think of your subconscious mind as your secret agent of physical transformation and regeneration. The secret agent man. Think of your subconscious mind as your secret agent of physical transformation and regeneration. And if you remember the activity of the Empress, your secret agent will draw to you, attract to you what you will imagine that you need to make these changes possible. It will rehabilitate your body and your mind through your will for direction you choose. So not only do you learn how to direct your thinking, but by your very focus on learning how to do it, you'll be given the tools to help you do it. That's the way God works, creation works. He's here, he loves us, it's here, she's here, creation's here, it loves us, and will supply everything you need when you place your attention on something in order to understand it. And one of the things that's great with imagination is you can look at something and just wonder about it. Hey, what's this? I'm going to close my eyes. I have this picture in front of my mind. There's some kind of chaos or something going on. What's really going on here? What change is happening? Because chaos creates change. So you can wonder at that point. And then you'll get an answer. And it won't be what you think you're thinking. You'll actually get an answer that will help solve whatever riddle it is that's in front of you. This is delightful, working with creation. And creation sitting right next to all of you. You're in it, sitting next to you, not far. So let's look at talented business people, athletes, and musicians. Here are people who have spent hours and hours practicing and studying their chosen endeavors. Over the years, their bodies and minds have changed in order to accommodate their chosen field and the information they've acquired. Originally, possibly as children, they imagined a life in a particular field. As they grew and attained mastery in their chosen fields, they used their imagination to help them grow. This applies to anyone who has a dream. It is up to you to transform your body in such a way that the life force can express through it to accomplish what you want in life. And that includes illumination. If you want the illumination, it will come to you. You'll show up at the right doorstep. The number 18 of this key becomes the number 18 of this key becomes 9, is 9 by adding together 1 plus 8. I love this sentence. I have to talk to myself. I'll have to talk to myself about that. So you've got the number 18 is 1 plus 8 becomes 9.
I'm muted.
When I was taking
What?
when I was taking.
So the purple mountains, the goal of the yellow path in this key are where the hermit resides. The hermit represents the primal will, and he shows us how to use it to arrive at the mountaintop. Let's look at 8 and 1. 8, strength, which we looked at earlier, expresses the law of suggestion. Key 1, the magician, expresses directing, focused attention. Okay, remember the magician. So it appears that the number 18 is the law of suggestion being applied to where we direct our attention, focus our gaze. This can be either within ourselves or without. So, as an aside, just repeatedly going over the tarot cards and reciting aloud the pattern on the trestle board created by Paul Foster Case on a regular basis, these 2 activities alone will have the effect of transforming you. By doing this, you are acknowledging who you are, and you're taking responsibility for who you really are. Your subconscious mind, your wonderful secret agent, takes this to heart because you acknowledge to your secret agent just how powerful you know it to be. Any questions about this at this point? So let's look at the Hebrew letter Kaf, which means back of the head, back here. Here are found the posterior lobes of the cerebrum and cerebellum. Cerebrum and cerebellum. The cerebrum contains the sight center. So you could say that we see the back of our heads. Just below it is the medulla oblongata, commonly called the brain stem. So here we have that. The brain stem connects to the spinal cord and its branches. So here we see that the medulla oblongata connects the brain with all of its sense centers to the subordinate centers located in the body. I'm going to move this over. And I'm going to move this over here. And I'm going to take, let's grab us. There we go. So we can follow this on the card. It turns out that the medulla governs respiration, regulates the heart, and controls the circulation of our blood. It carries on even when we sleep. This is what brings us to the Hebrew letter Kaf. And you'll see the symbol here, and down in the lower right-hand corner, we see the back of someone's head. We see the letter Kaf. Kaf's function is sleep. Its shape even reminds us of the shape of the brain, with the brain stem at the bottom. When we sleep, we allow our body to rest and regenerate. The old dead cells are removed by the activity of the medulla. New cells replace them. All of this while we're resting. That's nice. So remember I talked about the regeneration and evolution of your body. Once you are illumined, it goes a little faster. If you then go on to the next step of self-realization, it kind of speeds up, but it still has to change. The old cells have to die off. So there's a period of time between each of these events, these what they're called solar initiations. So all of this while we're resting. This reminds me of the final but most essential pose in a Hatha yoga class called Shavasana, or corpse pose. Shavasana is used for the same purpose. The body rests and absorbs the class, allowing the body to become structurally changed. You want to still your mind while in Shavasana. Let your secret agent do its job. While we sleep, we dream. All that has gone on during the day is digested and assimilated by the subconscious mind while we are still. It's all getting planted in there now. While our entire body is removing old cells, it is also being influenced and changed by our thoughts from the day. This is why it is advantageous to review each day before falling asleep. That was that retrospection that I talked about last week. I think last week or the week before. This is a very important tool. As a young initiate, I was instructed to do what my teacher called a retrospection of the current day. Right before falling asleep, it goes like this. Lie down in bed comfortably. Begin by imagining your morning. See where you've fallen short and determine to do better the next time you find yourself in a similar situation. I recall saying to myself, as the day passed before my mind, I'll keep this and that, and I'll toss out this and that. I didn't dwell for long on any one item. This is more like taking out the trash. Let go and let God. This should only take you a few minutes. So you're not going through this and declaring judgments. You are just deciding, yeah, I did better doing that. Yeah, I know I was kind of short on that. So I go through these changes, but I don't try and fix it. I just go, no, I'm not doing that anymore. You're out, you're out. Okay, I was nice today to that little dog. I'll keep that. You know, all the little nice things you do, you want to keep, but you want to go through this very quickly. And another thing that also helps right before you go to sleep is any kind of meditation, either a meditation or something that you like, that's a saying or a passage out of the Bible or a passage out of the Bhagavad Gita or a passage out of the Quran. Any of these things you can find that you might like to fall asleep being your last thought, so your subconscious mind will bring to fruition the next day in your life. This mental exercise helps clarify in your mind and to your subconscious mind what was important about the day. You may repeat a positive affirmation after doing this if you wish. The pattern on the trestle board is a great affirmation. Reminds you who you really are. Yes. Then let go, have a pleasant night's rest, and let your secret agent do the work while you sleep. I really love this. I wish I could have studied French this way. That's really, if I had been reciting my French lessons right before I went to sleep, I think I would have done a whole lot better. The things you learn later on. The ruling sign of this key is Pisces. Pisces is ruled by Jupiter, the planet of the Wheel of Fortune. which expresses the law of rotation. Remember that one. Pisces is also ruled by Neptune, the planet of the suspended man, which expresses the law of reversal. So what happens when Jupiter and Neptune are combined here on this card? Just to remind you, the function of the moon card is the reorganization of our mind and our body. So the law of rotation is about cycles and rotations, ups and downs. It also includes the 4 fixed signs of the zodiac, where the underlying foundation of the cosmos doesn't really change. The law of reversal, on the other key, expresses a point in our evolution where we become aware that we do nothing of ourselves. We see the suspended man's hands are behind him. They're out of sight. To sum up, with the combination of these 2 laws on the moon card, we are now evolving through the cycles of life to the point where the underlying foundation of our personality and our body doesn't really change and becomes the perfect vehicle for the expression of the all. So just to remind you, this isn't a mental thing. This isn't an intellectual discussion. You are chemically, physically changing. And therefore, there's no going back. You go through the illumination, ta-ta world. You go through self-realization. Yeah, it all looks different and you can't go back. Great fun. It makes everything that you used to do look all completely new and different. Okay, so let's go further with the sign Pisces. Look at the narrow yellow path winding up through the center of the card. Ta-da! So let's continuing on understanding what's being symbolized here. First, yellow indicates the superconscious plane of mental activity. So it's the path. Next, on our physical body, Pisces rules our feet. So this again is a reference to the path you're on now. There's an axiom that says you vote with your feet. In the marketplace, this applies to what you buy. Then the market responds by selling more things that you like. I used to laugh about, I would go to the local grocery store and there was this like 10 feet or 8 feet of organic foodstuffs. And this was like 15 years ago. Okay, if I go to the same grocery store, it's the whole side of the store, it's all organic. And even Costco, which is a humongous warehouse of stuff, has 3 aisles that are all organic food. And so cheap. The competition's there. People voted with their feet. They just stopped buying the other stuff that had chemicals in it. And then the market changes. So you do vote with your feet. So where you travel is where you get your return. And here we have the market responds by selling more things that you like. True. You get more things for help you along the path because creation will give you more. Where you place your focus. When you begin to meditate, you decide what you'll meditate on, and that determines what will be revealed to you by Isis from the star key. She is another manifestation of the Empress. The Empress is ruled by the planet Venus. Venus is exalted in Pisces. This means that the Empress reaches her highest expression in the sign of Pisces. And the Empress is all about using imagination when using the laws of nature. The Hebrew letter on her card is Daleth. That's this letter, meaning door. That makes the Empress, and thus imagination, the door of manifestation. Interesting how that comes together on the cards. If you can imagine it, it will manifest. She also expressed on this card by her color green, indicative of growth and harmony, found under the wolf and the dog. So let's see where else this is going. The moon also reminds us of the High Priestess. Her authority, her crown, are the three different phases of the moon: waxing, waning, and full. The High Priestess is all about understanding the laws of nature through using memory, duplication, reflection, and the subconscious mind. Here we are with the feminine. The moon reflects the light of the sun. This reflection is a returning of the sun's energy back to itself. This means that the yellow path displayed on this card is the path of return, because there is the moon. As such, we should take a good look at what is being expressed here for our own edification as we move along that path. Okay, in the blue sky are 18 flaming yodes. They appear to be drops of light falling from the moon. Because they are touched with red, they also appear to be blood drops. In addition, the number 18 is the value of the Hebrew word chai. Chet and yod form the word chai, meaning alive or living. So here we have raining down on earth, the life force from above. Remember in Kabbalah, above means from within, into physical existence. They are suspended in a blue sky, the color of the subconscious mind, and the High Priestess and all that she represents. So the reference to blood takes us back to the realm of the management by the subconscious mind of the human body. All of the nourishment of the cells of the human body comes via our blood. Your entire body's transformation will arrive that way. You see, we got to manifest it in the physical, and then you can ascend, but you take the whole 9 yards with you. So the moon pictured here has a total of 32 rays. 32 is the total number of the paths on the tree of life. And what are those paths? So here's the tree of life on the left. There are 10 sephirah, Hebrew for emanations, which are shown as circles through which the Ein Sof, the infinite, reveals itself. The Ein Sof creates both the physical realm and the 22 paths between them. The 22 paths are the tarot keys. So, and I will mention the Ein Sof is the infinite is actually black and is behind the tree of life. So I love the builders of the Addendum have a wonderful tree of life because there's this pitch black behind and then these radiant 10 spheres. It's absolutely beautiful. They're just iridescent. But black is the holiest color because it is before manifestation. So the moon key is I have to edit these. So the moon key reflects all that is going on in the cosmos. 32 is also the number of the Hebrew noun Laeb, meaning the heart. Especially, I'm probably not pronouncing this correctly. Anyone who watches this, you'll have to forgive me, who speaks Hebrew. So Hebrew noun, I think it's Liab, meaning the heart, especially as the seat of knowledge, understanding, and thinking. Also, midst, center. You could say that the tree of life is the heart of the matter. The moon shows us 16 long rays and 16 short rays. So you have all those little long and short rays. Obviously, not all are fully manifest on this key. We are just beginning our adventure. We still have a ways to go. So the pool of water is the same as that in Temperance and the star. It's from the water flowing from the High Priestess's robe. The liquid cosmic consciousness from which we have evolved over time. In the moon card, we find ourselves moving out onto dry land. This reminds me of the mathematician Pythagoras and the triangle later named after him. Let's explore the background of this triangle so that you can understand why this is of interest to our evolution and how it's expressed. That triangle was first known about in ancient Babylon and Egypt, beginning about 1900 BC, and was foundational in building the Great Pyramids. Pythagoras left his Greek island of Samos in Egypt for Egypt in about 535 BC. He left in order to study with the priests of the Egyptian temples, where he was taught their secrets. One side of the triangle is a measurement of 3. The other two measure 4 and 5. The one we're looking at has a 90-degree right angle. Paul Foster Case goes into detail about this Pythagorean triangle in his The True and Invisible Rosicrucian Order. Briefly, the side that is 3 is Osiris, the 4 is Isis, and the 5 is Horus. Those are the beings of these 3 sides. It is a story of love about the gods, Osiris and Isis and their son, Horus. Here's number this side. It is also the story about our Creator manifesting its love to its creation. So the story begins at the pinnacle up here at the very top. I'll move this up just a little, where 3 and 5 meet. Moves down the side of 3, down this way, across the side of 4, and then back up side 5 to the pinnacle. So the 3 is divided into sections which symbolize alchemical mercury, sulfur, and salt on this side, mercury, sulfur, and salt. And they're alchemical, so that means that they signify something as opposed to the actual mercury, sulfur, and salt. It's just their properties. That's why we call them alchemical. The 4 sections at the bottom are fire, water, air, and earth. The 5 sections going up this side are, starting at the bottom right, mineral, vegetable, animal, man, and at the pinnacle, Superman. When the story is fully understood, alchemists consider it a summary of the great work. So the moon card is an expression of the side containing the 5 sections, named after the sun Horus, and called the path of return. On this key, the pool of consciousness, which flows from the High Priestess, remember all the water comes from her garment, is surrounded by rocks and minerals. There you go, right here, which are the inorganic elements. So they're at the bottom of that side of the triangle. Now there's small plants, which are the organic elements. The crayfish climbing from the pool is a symbol of the early stages of consciousness. There's a little purple crayfish. And it resembles a scorpion. It is the powerful force of regeneration, symbolized by the zodiacal sign Scorpio, which finally raises us up and out of the water into self-consciousness. So, and also remember Scorpios at the base of our spine for the Kundalini. Next, we see an Egyptian scarab beetle moving along the path. There he goes. Here we have pictured the god Khepri, who was a scarab-faced god in ancient Egypt, who represented the rising or morning sun. By extension, he also represents creation and the renewal of life. In ancient Egyptian religion, the scarab was also a symbol of immortality, resurrection, and transformation. So there's a lot going on with this little guy pushing this up the hill. The life of the scarab beetle revolved around the dung balls that the beetles consumed, laid their eggs in, and fed their young, a true cycle of rebirth. Very appropriate to find him here at the beginning of the path, pushing before him a symbol of the sun. So you see it's been, the ball has been symbolized with a little dot in the middle, and it's yellow, so it's actually orange, if I'm correct. It should be orange because solar is an orange color. So then you have, let's move this up a little bit. The dog, yes, question? I heard a voice. Okay. So the dog and wolf are both from the canine family. We may just do this one card this time. We'll see. The dog and the wolf are both from the canine family. The wild wolf is dangerous and threatening to man, whereas the dog has been created by man from the wolf through skill and breeding. So the wolf is ever evolving nature. The dog is a result of culture. The path rises between the two in their midst. This is a suggestion of the middle path, which is the central pillar on the tree of life, and represents the path of the priesthood, the most direct path, straight up. The grass adorning the foreground is, once again, cultivated nature, thus relating to that which is familiar, the known world. Let's follow the path now and begin to enter a little less familiar territory. So if you look, let's see if I can bring this over. So there's the central path: earth, fire, air, earth, and water, foundation, beauty, or the Christ light, or the sun, and then it goes straight up to the crown. So that's the path of the priesthood. And of course, that also means the attributes on either side are accomplished. So the path has many ups and downs. Yep, there they are. Don't we experience those? I call those moments of chaos, those little ups and downs. Reminiscent of Jupiter, the planet of the Wheel of Fortune, with its cycles and revolutions. There will be times when staying on the path will seem very difficult. Pauses for rest and regeneration will be necessary in order to keep going. The towers are at the edge of the known. They safeguard the familiar, and to the average person, going further is not comfortable. It's perceived as dangerous, and it may actually be so. On the side of the 5 sections, back to the triangle, the Pythagorean triangle, called Horus, the sun, the son of the 2 gods, we are at the point of mankind living in a 3-dimensional world. So remember, there's 5 points. We're at the point of mankind. We're before Superman, the Superman consciousness. And we live in a 3-dimensional world. All we see is all there is. The unknown is the 5th section, that of the Superman, where the 4th dimension lies. It's also called enlightenment. Preparation for that experience are the experiences that we'll have once we've passed the 2 towers. Others have gone before us to light the way for us, thank God, to teach us about the tools available to help us and to help keep us on the path. Our sensual experiences will go beyond those received just through our body's senses. Think of this: the step-up consciousness from animal to man on that triangle, on the side of the triangle, is the same step that needs to be crossed from man to Superman. It is truly a leap of faith. So next time you pet your dog or cat, think about this. Hi, little guy, how are you? And he's obeying you and doing everything. Okay, that's the difference between you now and super consciousness or entering the fourth dimension. That also you get to include in the next dimension, that walking on water thing I've brought up from time to time. And yeah, many of us are already at 3.5, only because we are starting to activate our senses, which are all there, but without using our eyes to see or our mouths to speak and our ears to hear. All of that is going on. So it is truly a leap of faith to step out on this path. The purple mountains in the background represent the two Sephiroth called wisdom and understanding on the tree of life. Again, here they are. Wisdom and understanding. Those are the purple mountains in the background. They are always the purple mountains in the background. The yellow winding path on this card moves slightly to the left side of the mountain. There you go. Toward the Sephiroth called understanding. This is the mother feminine column on the tree of life. Below understanding are the Sephiroth, severity and splendor. Saturn implies discrimination. One of the mother's main feminine attributes is discrimination. So here again, there they are underneath the feminine. So these all are taken into consideration when you study the card. Let's see. The way of attainment is the path of return. The Pythagorean triangle demonstrates that what we seek is really the source. And as you travel along this path, you will realize that the source is closer to you than your hands and your feet. This will give you a sense in which that which is before you in the future is also that which is behind you in the past. The last shall be first, and the first shall be last. For when the cycle is completed, end and beginning are one. You become the fool. You may think that you've stepped off the cliff into the abyss, but you really don't go anywhere, for there is nowhere to go. It's all very lovely, especially when you have friends along. At this point, I would suggest getting to know and consciously direct your secret agent. That's the subconscious mind. Begin to use your new tool called retrospection. Remember the Pythagorean triangle. Slowly but surely, you will think what you think is in the realm of the unknown will become also clear. Slowly but surely, what you think is in the realm of the unknown will become also clear. Just take one step at a time. Have a safe and pleasant journey. So here we are. We have very few minutes left. So, well, we will have to do the next key, the sun, next week. And in the interim, I'm going to take you on a little journey that you'll enjoy. And let's head back up to the top. And does anybody have any questions about this card?
Yes, I do have a question.
Yes, Doug.
Looking at the sun in the moon card, card 18, and the symbol of the moon is superimposed inside of the sun.
This is not the sun. This is the moon.
With light.
It's reflecting the sun. So it's not
Yes.
actually within it. So yeah, that's a little, yeah, this is the moon with the, but it's reflected.
Reflecting the sun,
Mm-hmm.
because the moon
Yep.
is also a part of the solar system. And
Yes, and the
even though
sun, yes, and as far as alchemy, and there's your sun card. And you see the difference in the points. So now
do.
you have the sun, and all the points are out. But they're wavy points and straight points. So these little points have come out, and then we'll talk about that next week, what that means. So this is considered the moon, this whole symbol, even though it looks like a sun, a moon face because of the cusp and the face, but it's considered the moon. And then this is considered the sun with the face. Yeah. So that's looks a little, confusing. This is a great
Yes.
card.
Okay.
Okay.
And I do have one quick, fast
Yes,
question.
Yeah.
The retrospection, lovely way to keep oneself in check. I love doing it. I was a little confused by one direction said, look at your day backwards. And
You can do it in either direction.
either direction. Okay, and then simply view the event that you created and just say, yes, just have a sense of that's good or who needs it.
Yeah, that's about it. Yeah.
Okay.
Not get off on, man, I really screwed up. I don't ever want to do it, and go off. And then you give a lot of life to it, which is not what you're doing. You're going to go, oh, trash. Bye. You
Yes,
don't go in your trash can and dig around in it, do you? Well, okay, but you may have thrown something out, didn't mean to, but I mean, basically,
Yeah.
do that as the visual.
Just-
Oh.
just release it. Yeah, the trash can is a good way of thinking of it. Just
Yeah,
click it and drag it over to the trash can.
very good.
Okay.
So now let's go ahead and do this little, see if I can find it. The auric egg exercise, which many of you know about. And I put it under visualization exercises. So I think that's where yes, there it is. Oh my God, I can find things on my own website. Okay, so we will try out the auric egg exercise. And then I'm going to do this. This is visualization 1. I take these exercises off the Holy Order of Man's website, the .org site. And then from this, we'll do visualization 2 next week. So we'll do that with the sun card and see how it goes. So if everyone close your eyes. Take a deep breath. The purpose of this exercise is for you to become not only acquainted with the use of visualization and your own imaging of objects and light, but also to bring you into a position where you are totally surrounded by the Christ light. Sit in a relaxed position in a straight back chair. Visualize yourself with an oval-shaped egg filled with the white light of Christ. The note on this is, in many ancient writings, the egg always represented and symbolized the one who had attained. The egg has always been used as a symbol of birth, for in it all the wonders of reproduction are made manifest. Draw the light into the egg form. So you're now visualize yourself within an oval-shaped egg filled with the white light of Christ. Draw the light into the egg form to the extent that you can see and feel its brightness. In fact, after 3 or 4 days, you should or may see it when sitting in it in a darkened room. Just imagine it. And as you recall, your secret agent will aid you with imagining. So at some point, you will see this bright light around you. But first, you have to imagine it. And because you've put your focus on it to imagine it, it will start to grow and it will start to be real. as you do this, there should be an oval space in the center of the egg, which you occupy. So you're totally surrounded by light. And you feel, even if you don't see it, you will feel a sense of peace. You may feel a terrific uplift and acceleration that will improve your health and general condition. If you do it within 2 or 3 days of the approaching full moon phase and just after the full moon, that will be it will feel even better. This exercise should not be taken lightly. This and the other spiritual exercises are your opportunity to attain fundamental self-unfoldment. Consistent and honest effort in using this exercise will bring the disciple into the fullness of his reality, his or her reality. The more you practice, the greater will be your devotional aspects, and the more real will be the transformation within your entire being. For it will quicken your spiritual mentality and bring other gifts of prophecy, greater intuition, and most of all, the realization of your increasing cosmic consciousness. And you may take a deep breath and open your eyes. I hope you enjoyed the class.
Very much.
And when I do these exercises, I take them off the holyorderofmans.org site, which is under the curriculum. So you can always find them there. There's 3 sections in our curriculum, and in each section, there's a comment about exercise, spiritual exercises for that section. So next week, we'll try another one out of this particular section. So I hope you enjoyed it.
Yes, very much.
It's been delightful for me to have all of you here.
Yes.
And I wish you all the best evening. And
Thank you, Margot.
it will be recorded and you can all watch it off the YouTube site. And from my regular Gates of Light tarot.com site, there's a little button that if you get there and you go, oh, I was hoping to get to the YouTube, there's a little button you could press, it will take you straight over to the YouTube site. Okay, very good. Have a good
Right.
evening.
Wonderful week to everyone.
Bye.
Margo,
Thank
look forward
you.
to seeing you all next week. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Love you guys.
Bye.
Bye-bye.